Hey everyone, I think I'm going to start off with making my pecan pie. Hello there. Let me see if I can find where I put my pecans. Here we go. So, the ingredients call for, of course, the pecans. I have chopped pecans. I never use whole. I always chop them. It calls for butter, and I have my homemade butter here. It calls for sugar. Let's see. Got the sugar bucket. I hope I have enough. Uh-oh. Look out. I may have to run to the store for sugar. I know it's always something I forget. Dagnabbit. But I totally thought I had more sugar than this. But I have made several pies lately, and so yeah, okay. But it doesn't call for much call for much sugar, so I might be okay. And then it calls for white corn syrup. So I have my white corn syrup. The white corn syrup, it calls for a pinch of salt, 4 whole eggs, and vanilla. So let me grab the vanilla. Alrighty. I got my vanilla. Alright. So I'm going to start off by creaming the butter. And it calls for 1/4 cup. So that means a stick, because I'm going to make 2. So I'm going to take a whole stick of butter. Go ahead and put my stick of butter in there. I might change angles, because you know normally, oh, and I got the KitchenAid down, you guys. I got Big Baby down. I decided to go ahead and get this one. It's more powerful than my little tiny mixer. But I like using a little tiny mixer because it's easier to clean. It's not as heavy. I keep this one up pretty high on top of my little pantry there. So yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and switch positions so you can see down into the bowl, okay? Let's do that. Okay, you guys, I got all my ingredients together. I wanted to lay everything out so I can just reach for it. So right now, I have a whole stick of butter in the mixer, and I'm creaming it. So basically, you just you let it go around a couple of times until it gets creamy, and it's not in the form of a stick. And then you're going to add your sugar and your flour. So right here, the ingredients call for, I'll go over the ingredients again for you. It is 1/4 cup of butter. But since I'm doubling the recipe, this is a whole stick. Okay? It's a stick. I'll show you for an example. Hold up. Hey, you guys. Now, this is not the butter that I'm using. This is store-bought, salted, sweet, creamy butter. But what I'm using is my own butter that I made myself, my homemade butter. But I just wanted to show you the measurements on this stick because it's marked. 4 tablespoons, 1, 2, 3, 4. That is a 1/4 cup of butter. So I used a whole stick because the recipe calls for 1/4 cup of butter. So 1/4 cup twice will be the whole stick. Okay? I just wanted to show you that. So that's what's in here, a whole stick of butter, but it's not this butter. It's my homemade butter. Okay, calls for a pinch of salt. I'm just gonna go ahead and do that now. Let's see. Just a pinch of salt. Okay, then you're gonna add the sugar. The sugar is 7/8 cup of sugar. And I remember a long time ago, and I actually see it where I wrote it on here. Some of this writing, that's why this recipe is so dear to me. This is a copy of the recipe that we make every year for years and years. This is the recipe our mothers taught us. It came from the River Road Recipe Cookbook. It's a Louisiana cookbook. This is a photocopy or Xerox copy of the actual page from the cookbook. It was so tattered and so old, and I didn't want to lose it. So I actually took the actual copy and I put that away for safekeeping because it actually has my mother's handwriting on there, where it says, "Make this one Pam." My sister Pam is the who she's talking to here. She's my older sister, and she passed away. So this is a fond memory for me, because I remember this. I remember when my mama wrote that on there and told Pam this is the pie I need you to make. Mama was at work and Pam was at home and she was making the pies. So she told her to make that particular recipe, and her handwriting, that's my mother's handwriting. And here's my mother's handwriting where it says the flour. She said, "No, don't use it," but I'm going to use it. Now over here where it says or 1 cup, that's my little scraggly handwriting. Okay, what I did is I added up what 7/8 of a cup would be, and pretty much it's more or less a whole cup of sugar. So I just wrote that there to remind myself, because honestly, I don't even have a 7/8 cup, or an eighth of a cup, so I could spoon in 7 or scoop in 7 cups of sugar. But so basically, it's 1 cup. I don't want to make a long video, but I just wanted to explain what I'm doing here. So basically, this is 2 cups of sugar. I'm going to go ahead, it says gradually add it. So I'm going to go ahead and turn my mixer on and gradually add the sugar. Just kind of knock it off the beater a little bit. There we go. Gradually add the sugar. So creaming the sugar and the butter together. So it also said, I've told you I'm using the flour. Sorry, Mama. Sorry, Mama. She had her reasons for not wanting to use it, but I don't think it's a problem. Okay, I added the flour. It called for 1 tablespoon of flour, so since I'm doubling the recipe, that is actually 2 tablespoons of flour. Okay. Now, you're supposed to do this until it's creamy and fluffy, and it is. Okay, let's take a look at it real quick. It is fluffy, but I want to scrape the sides a little bit. Hold up. It is fluffy. All right. So now I'm going to add the syrup. Hey, Joshua. So I have 3 cups of syrup because, like I said, I'm doubling the recipe. The recipe calls for 1.5 cups of white corn syrup. And so I'm adding 3. Okay. Hey, Josh, you got your cards?
Under?
So add the syrup and then you beat it well. You gonna go? You gonna go outside? You can go back out. It's nice out there. Okay, I'm gonna have to take a Josh break. I'm gonna take a Josh break, you guys. Hold up. I apologize, everybody. My son needed me. So now I'm back. So now that we've creamed the syrup together, we're gonna start adding this. Well, I've already added the salt, right? Now I'm gonna add the eggs one at a time. Almost 8 eggs because it's 4 eggs. That's what the recipe calls for, and I'm doubling the recipe as I said. So that's 4 eggs. I mean 8 eggs. So let's see something here. I want to make sure that I have all the syrup that was in here. There we go. So, and I added the eggs one at a time. So to beat it thoroughly. Now there's something I'm going to do different, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add my vanilla now. Which one are you? Oh, you. Hey, Tony. Anyway, I thought Josh was coming back. Yeah, I gave him some cheese and crackers and a little juice, so. Look, I made him a little charcuterie. Okay. Make sure everything's mixed really good. And then we're going to bake this at 350. The oven is already preheated. For 50 minutes or until it sets. Sets meaning when the liquid in the pie filling, it settles and it thickens, okay? And then it calls for the pecans to be put directly into here. That's not how I'm going to do it. I don't put the pecans directly into the mixture. I like to take the broken pecans and put it in the bottom of the pie shell. That's how I like to do it. And also, there's another difference. Notice I told you before when I was making the sweet potato pies, if you don't remember, I said that I do not like making deep dish sweet potato pie. I feel like it's too thick. But I actually think with pecan pies that I don't want it too thin because you're putting the pecans on top of it, right? The pecans are going to float, right, to the top. So let me open my bag here. All right. So they're broken. Let's say about get that little ugly one out of here. All right. I like to put the pecans on the bottom like this. keep the pie shells frozen. Not even room temperature. I like to keep them, I take them straight out of the freezer. I made the mistake before of letting them thaw out. When they thaw out, they begin to puff up. So you don't want to do that. Okay. So basically all of these are going to float to the top. So, but let me work on this mixture. Let's see if everything's good. All right, let me put my bowl here to catch my drips. Oh, I'm gonna move this over a little bit. I have very little counter space, but that's okay. All right. Everything's in there. I'm gonna give it a little taste. I know it's egg. I like the flavor. I'm gonna put a little sprinkle of sugar. I'm sorry, salt. Another little pinch. Just kind of curbs it with sweetness. So this is a very sweet pie. Just trying to control that salt. I'm also scraping down to the bottom and make sure. That's one thing. Like I said, I love this KitchenAid mixer, but I don't like that little deep, little crevice in the bottom. I feel like sometimes things get stuck down there. But that's why I take my little scraper and make sure everything's thoroughly mixed. I go down there and do that. Looks pretty good. Give it a little taste. Yes. There we go. It's going to be a good pie. Just a little bit of salt makes the difference. Okay, you guys? I'm going to go ahead and pour it into the pie shells. Start with this one. Hope you guys can see. Okay, don't want to overfill it. That's another reason, because you want a deep dish because the pecans rise to the top. See, and they float. Here we go. I think I have enough for a third pie, to tell you the truth. I have enough pecans and enough filling for a third pie. Let's just make sure this is totally filled. There we go. All right, I'm gonna do the same as I did last time. I'm gonna go ahead and get my cookie sheet and line it. So I'll be right back, you guys. Oh no, nobody will need that too, because I'm going to do my same little thing. And I know you guys can do it because I have like the little mic attached to me. So even though I was over there, I know you can hear me. I'm going to use my parchment paper. Cover the bottom of this cookie sheet here. Right? Let me wipe the counter because I see the little drops. I don't want that to get on the bottom of the cookie sheet. It'll burn. Let's see if I can do this. La, 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 la. I'll do it this way. Here we go. I'll take it over here. There we go. Put the other pie on there. There we go. We're ready. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to line it with the aluminum foil. That's going to protect my crust from burning, because it has to bake for almost an hour, about 50 minutes. So. I don't know what to do with my little kitchen shears. My favorite nuts, pecans. I eat them straight out of the bag. It's dripping, isn't it? Guys, I'll move it. I'm eating pecans, y'all. Pecans. I have no idea what I do with my scissors. Wow. There they are. Okay, you guys, I took a little break in because this is kind of it takes a second or so, and I didn't want you to have to sit there and watch all that. So all I did was cut the foil in a circular pattern, and I am lining the pie crust. I'm covering the outer edge of the pie crust to keep it from burning while the pie is baking. But also, I'm very careful. I try to be careful not to let it overlap and go inside the pie filling, because when you remove it, it's going to mess up your pie, make it look ugly, because it'll have like a little missing spot right there. So I try to fold it back a little bit. Okay. And so it won't touch the inner part, because it's going to rise a little bit. Okay. Oh, and also the flour that I use, like I said in the recipe, my mom said, nope, no flour. But I think it serves as like it thickens the pie filling. But I used a all-purpose flour, okay? Not a self-rising, because you have, you'll have a mess on your hands, because it's going to, with the self-rising, it has like the additives in there, like baking powder and all that, to make it rise, you know, like a cake. So you don't want that. When you add the flour, make sure it is all-purpose flour. That means there's no additives in it to make it all rise. So now, it's going to go in the oven for 50 minutes at 350. So let's go. This is pecan pie. Pecan pie. That's how we say it. All right. Okay, you guys. See you in a little bit. I just wanted you to see. I'm going to shake the pie a little bit so you can see. Let's see. See how it jiggles? I don't know if you can see that. I just want to make sure that the pie is completely set, like it said in the instructions, before I take it out. But I don't want to overcook it either. But that looks good, doesn't it? All right, everybody. Here are my finished pies. Pecan pie. I'm going to go ahead and take the little foil off so you can see how my little... There we go. Look at that pretty golden brown. Not burned. Golden brown. You know what? I don't know if you know from my other video that I had purchased. See, when I told you about it sticking? See, that's what I meant. Mess your pie up. It'll look ugly because it's stuck inside the filling. Let me see if I can remove it gently. Okay. Just that one little area. But we're good. But I had purchased pie crust covers or pie crust protectors. I'm sorry, I'm moving the camera. Pie crust protectors, and they were too large, and so I sent them back. I was gonna buy more. Look, I did it. Hey, there we go. So there are my pies. Just removing the aluminum foil that I use. That's my little Josh in the back. My son. Okay, but there they are. And the crust is golden brown and not burned. Honestly, unless I just want to have more gadgets in the kitchen, I honestly do not need to buy pie crust protectors. Aluminum foil works fine. Okay? There they are.